Good morning and welcome back to another Altcoin Kings channel. I am your host, Down to Crypto TA. We're still just tumbling to the downside, guys. I did tweet last night, well, yesterday, that I would let you know if anything changed in the charts, and nothing has changed. So we're still just rolling over. We did get this little small pop right here during the Asian session, and I also let you know that there was no strength behind this, and we would have to see price come back in to really just gauge, because it was only putting in a bear div right here. So you can see how we popped above this high over here. So it was just a bear div, and the continuation down here. So we're at a golden pocket right now. It just depends on how you're pulling your fib. Um, Golden pocket 786. Just like I said, depending on how you're pulling your fib on that daily time frame. But it's also a high volume note right here as well as prior, depending on what chart you're looking at. Point of control right there. And we do have the liquidity sitting just below us. It's 7360 right here. I am aware that we have the expiries today, and we are currently the state of things is that we are gamma negative, of course, which means that dealers are net shorts. So a lot more volatility as we start to roll over. They will sell into any little pops that we get to the upside at the moment. I think we split back. Gamma positive. If we get back above, let me see what it's supposed to be. Above 39.44, I believe it is. So we're sitting very close to the highest strike price, which is $38 on IBIT. So yeah, quite a bit of selling pressure. I know that there was one whale who bought about let me see, what was it? I'm a little bad research. Um, um, about 30 million. So 40, no. Yeah. About 30 million. I think that prior, this whale had a 48, um, 48 short, something like that, and he flipped long. So, we'll get those expirations in a few hours here, about 2 hours. So, we'll see what happens. So right now we are negative, on the negative. Max pain is, max pain is 40 buckaroos, 40 smacks. So we could also see a pop to the upside to around max pain at 40. Something to be aware of. All right. Let's push through. So we're still rebalancing on the 4 hour time frame. I know that here. So we still have our measure move intact here. We haven't finished balancing on the 4 hour time frame. That still does again send us down here to 65 around this area right here where we have the golden pocket at. And the value area low is going to be in this zone. It's a great support level. We've seen many bounces from here, and pretty large bounces. That's what's the most important things. We've seen some pretty large bounces from this zone right here. So we'll see once we get down here how that goes. Right now, I'm watching this area right here, which again, not on my Binance chart, but it was a prior point of control. It's still a high volume node right here, and it is still also golden pocket. Again, just depending on how you pull that fib. I think if you pull it from this low to this spot right here, then you're probably looking at a 786 right now. And if you pull it from here up, you're looking at the golden pocket. Either way it goes, the liquidity that's in right here is something I'm looking for market to take. and then we'll see how we react from that. But measure move down a bit more. So, like I said yesterday, we could still be rolling over about a good $3,000-4,000 more. Still setting over here. Gonna wait for this. I'm really looking for this red line right here to slip all the way down a bit more. So we'll see how we look around about 8 o'clock. So we're going to invalidate any sort of bullish divergence that could possibly take place right here in a moment, as the RSI is still dropping down. Yeah. But you can also see at some point yesterday, yeah, that selling pressure absolutely just ramped up, and yeah, we flipped from neutral to there. Just giving that some time. I will start to, I'm no longer in any sort of a long position. I just want to make that clear as well. I'm just sitting on my hands right now. I'm not trying to catch a bottom. I just want to make sure that the selling pressure is done, and I take the most valid loan that I can take. So I think that next week is going to be a pretty decent week overall. I mean, we'll make some money if you're looking for a loan. I mean, short right now is just the place to be right now. So just letting my small little short, and it's a very small short to play out here. I haven't added to it. I don't plan on adding to it. It, you know, I take what I'm blessed with and be happy. So that's that. Still rolling over. Take a look at the daily here. So you can see I marked this out right here. So this right in here, and it's as big as you want to make it. You got that note there, and you got this one here, which both of these really give us that zone. We'll just see how we behave right in here. This is exactly what I looked at the last time with you guys, where I was like, man, that's too far when I did this number right here. I was like, be watching for that, and I was like, ooh, that's a bit far. And I honestly, yesterday I said that the 15-minute time frame would bounce before we made our way all the way down here, and that was so long. Like I really, really, really thought that. I really did. I really thought that we would see some sort of a relief bounce, and we got the pettiest of pettiest bounces. I wouldn't even call them a bounce, really. And those moves were really petty. They were like little scalp positions, which I'm not interested in because, yeah, um, it's too much volatility trying to. I mean, you like volatility, yes, but it's too dangerous to be a scalper. Price turning against you behind too quick. So anyway, we're in this little zone right here. See how we hold up. I'm just so surprised we haven't seen any sort of a pop to the upside. So we're still holding this section through here, and it will remain that way at least until we get down here, and then we'll see if we leave a wick, and we will have, well, actually, nah, this will have to drop lower. One of these two are going to have to drop lower to give us any sort of divergence. Any sort of divergence. I know a couple of people have looked at this and identified this as the head and shoulder formation, which would be the inverse of what we have on USDT dominance, of course. So if we're looking at that way, which I'm not looking at it in this way. I've already got the rise and wedge measured out, but that would be it right there, which would be taking up that low there. If you're viewing this as a head and shoulder formation, that is what it is. I did look at this, and yeah, I'll just leave that little line right there. Um, That could almost be about the same as what we have here. Let's just assume this happened today. I'm just saying the breaking confirmation. So the 50, 54. Yeah, I mean, I won't dismiss it, that's for sure. I will not dismiss it. Um, this doesn't look like it rolls over though. I mean, it can, but that lines up right here where we're waiting on this golden pocket right here. So standard deviation, 2 sits here. It's not, there's no sort of a squeeze in here, which typically, I mean, things can change, but typically when you don't have a squeeze, you just have a range that you just continue to play inside of. Boom, 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 boom. So that is that down here at the value area low. So that's what I see with that. Let's just move forward, look at a couple of other right here. All right, so you got the 50 running across here. You got the, I mean, no, you got the 200 running here, and then a 100 here. And then you can see how we have this little cloud cover here. 50 right in there. All roads lead to right in here around this golden pocket right here. Except for that. But everything points to here. Let's just see how we do when we get there. Um, Tether did pop up out of the pattern. So you can see that Tether did get pop up. So I guess on the macro that would align with, with our theory of possibly, some sort of a double top formation or something like that before we actually see the breakdown of this bearish formation here, which is a ascending Brownian formation. We'll also check right back in here, which I think that this, um, that's a little bit further than Bitcoin, I think. I think that would be a lot further. Just looking back at our resistance point here at this midsection here, which is about 8.62. But that breakout is happening. Push back one. It's still going up right now. This has been in between here as resistance and then just right in here as resistance. Bitcoin has actually been respectful to the VIX a lot more here lately. You can see that oil. Yesterday, you can see how it got the little rejection right there from that point of control, and it reclaimed super quick, super quick, super quick. And so now we're above it. I'll be looking for oil to, let's see if oil pushes up into the value area high in here. See if that stunts the growth a little bit back around these highs. So I won't directly be looking at the value area high. I'll be looking at these prior highs right here. See what happens here with oil. The Bitcoin, she continues to roll over, roll over. The weekly is the one thing that's just holding in here. If there's any hope left for Bitcoin, it is the weekly. And I know nobody wants to talk about any upside because we've been sideways for several months and we just look like crap. Like it's hard to have any inspiration for any upside movement. But we're still holding in here and But yeah, rolling over. Yeah, rolling over. See a red. See a red. We'll see some sort of a little bounce right in here. It looks like, based on the 1 hour time frame, it looks like it would. Um, but just like yesterday, I'm sitting on my hands. I'm not taking any long positions just yet. Um, I look forward to taking one. I do. I look forward to taking one, but oh, don't get me wrong. I did try this little section right here that failed. I did try this section right here, only because we were holding this range in here from stream yesterday. We were holding the range in here, and I could see we actually flipped for a sec, but it wasn't any strength behind it. Of course, well, there it is. And that was it. So I did try it there. I tried it there. I told you that I would try it again. But I didn't. I didn't. Because after this right here, I went on Twitter and I posted that we were failing this move right here, and I was sitting on my hands. So that's what happened. I sat on my hands. I said, "There's nothing. There's nothing in here so far. So just more downside. Let's about this little bounce in here. I'm only gonna. I'm only gonna get long once. Once I see some pine trees. I don't see any pine trees right now. So 1 hour's trying to hold this. I think it was like a momentum line or something over here, something like that. Yeah, you can see it's trying to hold here and curl back up. But like I said, we're sitting too close to liquidity for me to, and like I said, it's a high volume node zone right here that we're trying to hold, but we're sitting so close to liquidity. We may not take it. I mean, I'm gonna stick around and see if we do. That's what I'm gonna do. See if there was anything else I needed to know before we went. Nah. Nope, nope, nope. Like I told you, the 4 hour was looking like trash. I started saying it on Tuesday. We got that one little extra bounce by the grace. We got that one little extra bounce, but that 4 hour just kept looking like garbage. It just kept looking like garbage. Um, we did make a minor flip again on the daily time frame. Let me just put that out there in case I didn't say that. I did notice that we made a minor flip on the daily time frame, but nothing aggressive. Nothing aggressive yet. I'm gonna tell you something to look for um on your 4 hour time frame because all I really look at when I start to, and I've shared this multiple times before, but what I really start to look at is the commodity channel. So when I'm looking at this is basically all it is. I just revamped it to show me the different uh momentum, like short, fast, medium term, fast, slow momentum changes in there, shifts. But that's basically it. So you go on your commodity channel, right? Commodity channel index, CCI, right? take this away. You can use the signal line, but that's not your main focus. It's not your main focus. Momentum line, it gives you some good information. So I'm not saying don't use it. I'm just, what I'm saying, like it's not, you're not waiting for a cross above that or below that because you'll be too late to the party. So the thing to focus on in here, if you just, need something to help you see like what's happening in the chart and make a solid line. I did the same thing for my center, make it a solid line. I really didn't have to change that color, did I? But I did. So change it here to nothing. All right. But you see these points right here when you come back below your 100, positive 100, after you deviated out above, let's just say, I don't like anything above 2. So I'm just going to drop a 200 in here. After you've deviated above your 200. Like this is usually like a point where it's considered to be uncommon. It's very common. I don't know who came up with the idea that it was uncommon, but it's a very common place to be. So after you've done something like that, I actually used to trade it like when it came up above 200. I would take a position on it, and a lot of times it'll work. And I just I outgrew the idea of entering a position just because it crossed above the 200, but it used to be a main thing that I used to look for. So you can see how that 200 right there, shoot, 200 right there, shoot, 200 right here, boom, to the downside reversal point, 200 right here. It didn't reverse. It put in a bear div up there, but I used to do it like that with the 200 all the time, all the time. I think I still have like that indicator where I like yeah, I think I still do. So 200, anything above 300, I don't really mess with that too much. But 200 is a great place to start looking for your reversal if it's not the reversal point. But really, the 100 is like the golden place or the golden rule. So your CC um, falls back below. So I do like to see it get really high like that and then fall back below 100 short, something like that. So your 3 places is gonna be your 1, it's gonna be your 0. Anytime you're crossing right here, you're likely to get like a bigger pullback or bigger pump, if you deviate from here, so from your midsection in here, and especially when you drop the low right here, oh, you really in trouble. Don't ever look at this like how people look at the RSI like we're below 30, we're oversold. It's not an oversold or overbought indicator. That's not what it is. That means that you're relatively weak. You're weak. Or you're relatively strong, like you're really strong. Now, the longer you hang outside of it, then yeah, that makes a difference. But when you drop below 100, you usually see an accelerated sell. Or when you pop above 100, you typically see like a crazy push. So you can see like right here, this 100 is right here. It's right here. So you see a crazy push. If you're looking at the RSI, that's going to be the point where the RSI crosses above its midpoint. That's a nice push. Anytime you hold 50, it's a nice push if you're holding 50. If you're rejecting 50, then you're quite bearish. But anyway, back to the 60. Just all over the place talking about it. But it's very useful in regards of, I like to use it for the 4 hour specifically. Other time frames, you'll get too much noise, but 4 hour, it works really, really well. And right now, you can see we have not come back up above the 100. So we're still hanging outside of that at a negative 147. It'll be around about the point where we cross back up this 100 right here. That 4 hour is likely looking to curve back to the upside. So price, you can start looking for that to get ready to start to push back in once we can come back above this 100. Now, does it work all the time? Absolutely not. But you have to know when to let it go. So, like for instance, right here, I was just telling you it's 3 points. It's your -1, your +1, and then your zero. So here you the come back up -1, come back up -100 in here, but then you can see how you roll over at 50. So at zero, so you don't manage to get past, or you get above it, but you rotate back down right there. So you rotate it back down right there. Sometimes you'll chop it, and that means nothing, except you're gonna go up, to be honest with you. That's all it means, that you're likely, roll flipping up. So, you chopped it right here, but that's your starting point right there, and then you remain above the 0 line. You all up here at 2. Like I said, those are great pointers right in here. Again, you coming up, pop, straight pop, coming up, straight pop. So, it's really good for identifying where you're likely about to turn around, and we're so far from that right now. I like 20. I'm gonna take this off my chart, but I like 20. So we're far from that happening right now. But once we do, then selling pressure is starting to decline. That's what you need to know. That's all I'm trying to let you know. Your selling pressure is declining once this starts to roll up to that 100, that a -100 there. I'm gonna put this on a 1 hour real quick. So you can see how it came up to 100 right here, but it failed. So just a good example of how it can fail. So be careful about what time frame you're on. You start to get too much noise. I love it for 4 hour. I love it for 4 hours. I absolutely love it for 4 hour. So right now, that's what we're waiting on. We're waiting for our 4 hour, and it's still very bearish. So when I'm trying to hold this, I really don't need this. I've gotten away from doing that too much and just looking at my horizontal lines down through here. Make sure to move this. It's a lot cleaner. This little attempted bounce here, but I'm chilling. I'm chilling. Again, for anyone who doesn't know, I'm a momentum trader. It's one of the momentum and volatility. It's just two of the most responsive ways of, you know, trading. But they're price action. I love price action. Very little, but I do attempt at Elliott wave and all those other stuff, but mainly I do trade momentum. And I think we've just been stuck in between. Let me make sure. Yeah, I know yesterday we were. I think we're still outside of the standard, too. I know this entire move right here, like, we stayed in the trap right here. So if you I talk about Bollinger Bands a lot too, especially when we do this. If you know you don't have a reason to entertain this because you're stuck. It's still sloping down, it's still falling down, and you stay in between these 2 deviations right here, and you just stay that way. Every now and then, you'll come back to the 20 in this environment, but we're well outside of standard deviation too right now, so, no need to fade to move to the downside, to be honest with you, but you can be a bottom catcher, you can most certainly be a bottom catcher. I catch bottoms too. I don't wanna lose any money. I really don't, so taking it easy. No resolve. Not even the overextensions are doing anything. It's just bad. This is disgusting. Um, this is all I was looking at earlier. I mean, this information hasn't updated really. I don't think that they've updated anything here just yet. But Max Payne was sitting over here at 40. Then we're taking a look at our gamma exposure in here, and I knew that we were, like I said, we're gamma negative right now. So um, dealers are selling, of course. Gamma negative, they sell. None of this stuff is really going to update until markets open. But you can see larger strikes in right here at 38. I think that we were last somewhere around that point right there. Still price action uh, right in here. Yesterday it was a positive gamma flip at 39.44. Um, it's a big month, of course, or a big week. Let me put it like that. Big week, big week. That's my birthday right there. Yes, I'm super excited. I think right in here we were also at a 2 point. Let's see, yeah, 2.168, 2.618. I'm sorry, 2.618. Right here also. mean, it would be nice if that was the end. It would be nice. And then the little candle moves. I don't even think that we've been rotating. I think this right here was like the biggest little pop up we got. It's right here when we hit about the 786 right there. Yeah, we hit about 786 in there. Like I said, no need to get long right now. Anybody trying to tell you to get long right now, don't listen. Not taking any longs just yet. Not sure how shallow these other moves have been. Excuse me for that. And it seems like every inside range we get has just been a breakdown. Every little inside range that we develop, it's just been another. It's just been bearish. They've all been bearish. All right, so we're coming into our liquidity right now, which is here. I'm not even attempting any SFPs or anything like that. Personally, I'm not. I'm just not. I should probably notate this one, but this was the big cluster of right here. A lot of times it's the one you're not expecting. Yeah, see? Oof. Sitting out, sitting out, sitting on the side. And I just said I should probably notate this one because it's usually the one nobody's thinking about. Like this one right here. It's usually the one nobody's thinking about because everybody's so focused on the other one that the market is like, yep, I'm gonna get you with this one. I'm gonna put it on that one. We'll put it on that one. It'd be straight slick. All right, let's see. It's always that one ain't nobody else looking at. It's enticing me, but I'm not gonna touch it. I'm very enticed with that one. That I'm very enticed with that one. That's this point right here too. I'm very enticed with that one. Mm. I had been sitting around waiting on this one, but that's intriguing. Mm. Mm, 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 mm. All right, a little bit, a little bit. I'm a little intrigued with it. I'm a little intrigued. I'm not gonna lie. That's gonna be where you should have just sat your behind on the sideline. You had no business touching that. That's one of those moments. Like you got no business touching it. It piqued my interest though. It looked like it's just waiting to fall through. We're almost coming into our zone anyway, which is basically right here. For the measured move, at least into that golden pocket, it's right here. And that is interesting. Mm. I like this. You know what else that is? I just paid attention to it. Um, it's putting us right here at our ascending trend line. Now, a measured move is down here, but that's mm, that is interesting though. Mm. Okay, so we don't have to worry about trying to act like we got some bull deals between this, because right now we don't. I think that was the lowest. I'm not sure. That was the lowest. It might not have been the lowest and put you right there. I bought a little bit, you know. I bought a little bit, and I said I wasn't going to touch anything. Ugh. I have emotions too, um, so I did buy a little bit. It's stupid. It's stupid to do that though. I'm just saying, it's kind of stupid to do that. But I bought a little bit. I just let it go. I would just let it go. Huh. Thank you. I gotta drink my coffee. Oh boy, this is fun. It's fun right now. It's fun until you start losing some money. Selling pressure is very high. It's still very elevated, of course. You can see I see a red over here. Um, this is what trying to catch a bottom feels like instead of waiting. It's exciting. There's probably a couple of other people trying to defend that trend line. Basically, not necessarily this line right here, but the ascending trend line from the rising structure that we have. Um, which if we're getting to the value area low and the golden pocket, that means we break that trend line. So it means that we don't hold here. Again, that measured move is down here. Setting my silliness aside, being patient here is the correct thing to do. We've basically stayed far away from. You see how we're not getting any sell signals? We're not getting those because we're not coming up. We're not showing that we have any strength through here, which is why you're not seeing any sales signals. If we were showing that we had any sort of strength, we would see some sales signals. Instead, all we're doing is hitting these low points. So we continue to hit these low points, but we have not had a move that gets us to a sales signal. And that's because we haven't had any strength. Um, you can see that from here. So this white line right here has stayed snug to breaking down out below the cloud. never above. Above is where you tend to have, show that you have some sort of a strength coming in here as well. So this entire move has been filled with weakness, absolute weakness, absolute weakness. So, um, which means at some point we could see a squeeze. We could see a short squeeze. It's only 7.27. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. The reason why this little pop right here was so important, the reason why it made a difference right here is you can see all through here, we put in some bullish divergence, right? All the way through here. From the sell point here all the way down through here, we put in bullish divergence. It wasn't until um, we invalidated the bullish divs by coming back to this point right here, that same point where we started putting in the bullish divergence, and then we had a swing fell off of that bottom right there, and that gave us, Asia session gave us that little pop up right there. So that's what that is right there. And then this was obviously the next point that I was waiting for right here on the push down. So yeah, if you were mature and you didn't play around with that, clap your hands. Clap your hands. All right. As we come into our measured move here, golden pocket, value area low, strong level of support, and we'll just see if it continues to act as support. But this is what I've been waiting on right here. And the only other place momentum can fall to make sense, at least, it's going to be right here. It was such a long line to draw using that, so I just did it like that, and that'd be an RSI around 9.44. That also lets you know that we have broken below the ascending trend line, which, I mean, we had to do that to get to the golden pocket. That's how it's referenced. is it breaks. And then, like I said, a strong area in here where we've seen multiple strong bounces from. If there's still buyers potentially sitting in here, we'll find that out soon. This will be just in time to see how we do with those expirations, if we're going to get that short squeeze. If dealers are going to deliver max pain. Trying to figure out what my number is. It's not that. It's still very aggressive. Still very much outside of standard deviation too. So you know that's very aggressive. This looks terrible as crap, doesn't it? 14, 14, 18, 15, 28, 41. The only thing that's steady, which I think it was what, around 33 or something like that, is that weekly. That's it. We'll likely get a squeeze, short squeeze. At which point we're gonna have to see like an aggressive move, because every little move we get that's a slow move. It does nothing but creates more bear divs, and we just continue to diverge. So that's the best thing you can look out for right now is bear divs. I got three signals on three different time frames that actually likes this bottom. I mean, we haven't hit our level, our target just yet, but it is showing some respect for this, for us coming into here. Okay. Um, I got one on the 15, one on the 1 hour, and a signal on the 4 hour as well. So all three time frames. Um, I mean, and you can see that we're in some relative weakness. I mean, a lot of weakness through here. It's not a place to look for a short. I could say that much, in my opinion. I mean, it's you don't move like that and start looking for a short. I should probably take some more profit from my short position while I'm talking about it. Um, I told you, you know, Tuesday this week and yesterday both that I had added to my short position, which when we came up on those two times where I said the 4 hour was looking sticky, I added to my short position and there it brought my entry in, but I am okay. I'm okay from that little top. I didn't put that much into it. Um, it just wasn't. I just didn't put that much into it, but um, happy about it. Okay. Okay. For now, we do that again. We'll probably be down here somewhere. You saw where I put in that 9.44. That 9.44. If if this momentum isn't going to hold and give us a little bit of a booster in here, like we didn't, come in and take that. But if it's gonna, it's so sharp, we would have to move quickly up because otherwise, like I said, we put in a bear div, and then if we roll back down again, I could possibly look at this a second time, but my eyes would be feast on this right here. So either we get the momentum move up and we find a little bit more aggression to pull up, or we roll over and Then I have to start gauging down here a little bit lower um, for weakness. And I guess it just depends on all about how you look at it. Yeah, we were off a little bit. I just slid that to the side. Like I said, I bit off of that a little bit with a long position, simply because it's my style of trading. But right now, it's really hard for me to do something like it's hard for me to do this because I'm eating into it. So it's really hard for me to do that. I definitely keep my eyes on that 9.44 though. I expect for things to get pretty nasty, but we'll see. We'll see. Short squeeze is the hopium after the expiration. 45 minutes now. Trying to eat this plum as I talk. Alrighty. Very slow. Just these little low time frames, 135. I just want to check something out real quick. Okay, so that makes sense. I remember looking at this gap right here. Some people don't want to talk about it. That ain't this is not their channel, but gaps do give good responses. And I've had this on the chart right here. Talked about this a couple of times this week actually, or last week, one or two, something like that. But you can see how that response happened right there with Asian session right here. That little gap right there. I don't think we had anything else that was down through here that would have caught me. Yeah, I think that was it right there. And then of course the stuff that we have above us, which, this was a breakaway, it looks like, right there. Takes a little bit more time to come back to a breakaway. But we can get a squeeze back into that. That would be nice, right? That would be nice. I'd be happy with that. I just want to look at that. Statistically, 70 to 90%. So I think breakaway is more like a 65 or something like that. High number, regardless. Mm. Oh, it's so slow. Jeez. Got any news today? Nothing today, I think. Yeah, we have nothing. Oh boy. And Power starts speaking on Monday morning at 10:30. Jolt's job Tuesday. Retail, manufacturing PMI. We got some stuff next week. Okay, Bitcoin is doing nothing. Let's take a look at gold while we chill on this right here. I got my eyes on it, and I've already told you like kind of like what I'm looking at in the event. I mean, we're moving really slow so far, so more likely bear div and continuation, of course. We front ran the golden pocket, which is fine. I kind of, like I said, I bought a little bit into here because momentum potential. but it could spill over and way more weakness coming in to about that 9.44 there on the 15-minute time frame. All right. Gold. I know I was talking about potentially picking up a position in here. We have not come here yet. I'm gonna move this over some just to be uh, on this line right here. But yeah, we've just been holding and just chilling in between here where we got the breakdown before with the back test, and we didn't quite come into here, which it doesn't have to do that. It doesn't have to do that at all. Um, it's still a consideration, still something to consider with a stop loss below VWAP. Of course, you want to see that reaction in here before taking any entries or anything like that. But I'm still going to be watching for this right here if we get it. Silver, still looking to see if silver will lose this one right here. It was almost looking like it could have did like an inverse. But still gonna be watching this. I'm gonna slide this over a little bit now, just to be more in line. Here, a little area of support. You got VWAP right there, and then of course you have the ascending trend line in here, just like how this one right here panned out right here. But of course, I'm not in a silver trade. It's just something that we looked at on stream, and then I look back over here and it hit it and just kind of chilling, waiting for it to fail, because I knew that this was some decent resistance right here also. So just the next area to look out for in here for silver. Copper, nothing has actually changed in here. I can't really tell. Let me just extend this out. I think the last time I looked at it, we actually had not tapped it for the rejection, which it could be how I have it drawn out too, because I just did it on the line chart. But I'm still under the impression that we could come down here towards the 786. It's a long way from anything like that happening. So of course, I'd say that's all off the table if we reclaim back above this momentum line right here for copper. And then platinum, I'm still holding, well, I'm still looking for, I hate that. Like I said, with copper, if copper was to come in and tap on the one that's going down right here into this VWAP, let me slide this over some now. I would like the idea of that. We did get the bounce off of the momentum one here to the upside here. That starts this move up, this aggressive move up, and return, to there. So we'll see, and then maybe this can break out and give something. So still holding out on that, looking for that to happen. I'm gonna fade this out so there's no confusion. That this is actually what I'm watching for right now with VWAP and all that. If we get there with platinum. Definitely not breaking any momentum to the upside. Everything looks like it may possibly have like this inverse, but nothing is actually playing out. So we'll see how that goes. For any of that. That's also going to be, if I can show you from here, that's all, that's the same, it's the same line, but it's just this, it's this. If it happened today, about 4,000, something like that. Interesting. Um, There are a lot of other charts I haven't looked back at, and I'm not gonna bore you with those today. Just let those be. And some of the liquidity that we've, built up a little bit in here the last 24 hours anyway. That's the Asia session high right there. I already have, I like to look at where Asia session is. Asia is usually your liquidity accumulation, something like that. So that high there, if you're looking at it from 24, 48, 48 is going to be a 15-minute chart. I'm really interested in this right here. Price coming back into this section right here. That's a big deal on my chart if you hadn't noticed. So I'm looking for, I want that. We can squeeze up to that. That'd be great. That'd be great. That's going to be this right here. But we have to come back above that previous day low to get there, right? Oh, I can delete this. We've gone through that. I should probably change this to a running man. I got a little broom on there right now because we didn't sweep this. We ran through it, right? We'll make them a little bit more chocolatey, like me. You gotta have fun. It's too chocolate. You can't even see it on this black background. Oh. I'm gonna hang out for the first 15 minutes of 8 o'clock at least, for the expirations, and then I shall be dearly departed. I'd like to say thank you. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for stopping by. If you try to navigate this market, I will update, of course, on X. As things start to flip around, we start to see a pine tree in here. Any sort of trees, any beautiful green trees. Um, I'll let you know. Once we have crossed the Red Sea. hopefully we're getting closer on that 4. Right now, I'm not really feeling like we are. I'm really not feeling like we are. I'm feeling like even with the measured move, it's just kinda I don't know, but I mean, for goodness sake. I like to keep the last, one that we broke in here, so I'm just gonna make this person a little bigger. You can't even see them. This is where we were yesterday. Crazy how fast that happens. I don't know if I said this to you or not. Not today, I know I didn't, but usually when I draw this out, it's just for me to catch the start of it and not the actual low of it. So when you see this on my chart, it just depends on what time frame it's on too. Um, I will put it like at the start, which is basically like that instead. So just so you know that. Let me move this one though. I'm gonna put this one at the top though, because we taking all the rest of it. So I'm just gonna move that to the top. But it's usually for me to know that I'm starting into grabbing liquidity. And it's generally centered around where we have like two relative equal highs or lows. That's where I put it. I mean, I could actually drop this down and it'll still pick up the bottom side of this wick. Yeah, I could do that. I just like to, I'm gonna put it right there. Yeah, and it still picks up the bottom side of that wick. I can do the same thing right here. So what happens is usually price, most of the people who entered, they entered after the wick, which is why I do that. Because then if we're reclaiming, I'm looking for us to reclaim back above the body. That's why I do it that way. And if we're not doing that, then I'm assuming that we're going to continue down. So that's, that's my logic. So it's like we found another way of expressing this to you. So it's like if you look over here, like when we got this drop right here, right? When we got that drop there, it would have been like this off of the red candle to the low, like this. And if price is going to break it, price should reclaim back above that, you know. So that's what I'm looking for, price to hold above, like breakthrough and reclaim back above that. So that's why I do it like that. Same situation happens over here. Well, actually, I don't have to put that there. You can see it from here. So this is on the body right here. You tap down into it, but you hold, you break, you come back above it. So that's why I do that. Same thing right here. You breaking below, but you reclaiming back above. So I set it on the body and not the wick. But the wicks are important. I don't want to make it seem like the wicks are not important. But most people who enter trades, they don't enter on the wicks. They enter on body closures. So, we're taking liquidity over this trend line this time. And you can see how we recovering back up above it just slightly with the body. So something to take into account, just like up here. We wicked outside, but you can see how our closure happened right there. So this is set on the wicks. And then when the market makers push up, liquidity above, but closure below. That's just my way of doing things. I'm pretty sure other people do it too, but I'm just explaining. If you're watching my chart, you understand what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. Same thing for my zones, with the exception of this one. I did drop this down a little bit to compensate for the golden pocket, but the same thing for my zones. If I draw out a zone, you're going to notice that my zones take into account bodies, because that's what price action tends to respect. Most people are just not going to be wick catchers. This has been really good for identifying when you walk in the line. I explained walking the line yesterday, but walking the line is where price continues in a certain direction and your indicator stays flat. So it's your delta actually. So if I take off, I'm gonna turn off the MACD line. Let's focus on the delta. It actually makes it look a little bit more flatter. So I'm gonna put it back on because I do want it to look a lot more flat. Okay, so your delta just stays around the zero line as prices coming down. It's good to see that actually. It's boring as heck to see it, but as prices squeezing higher, your delta is going to hang out at the zero line. And once it moves away from the zero line, that's when price action actually starts moving. Just like over here, it just stays flat through here. As you're seeing this little chop wave down, and then once it moves away from it, then you really see price start to move. It's also considered to be a squeeze. I'm just yapping right now. I mean, price is boring, so I'm just kind of yapping at the moment. It's just doing nothing, but we're a hella bearish. We know that. And we have been for a long time, ever since, you know, MACD's on the opposite side of the zero line. It's on the negative end. As long as it's down here, and just expect more downside until it at least comes back up above, be above the delta, and ride up here below delta. Not so great. Above delta, love it. Below delta, not so great, but it's just, oh my gosh, this is just, ugh. Ugh. All right. I'm still too slow, which is fine. I guess this is fine. Already, this is at a terrible angle. I mean, we got a decent move the last time we were here, but I mean, doesn't look like that right now. But we did get a decent move the last time we were here. But we're super slow. That was this move right here. For anybody who's wondering how I trade momentum, swing points. Like last time RSI was here, it gave us this move right here. So it's a swing point. It's this swing point. So that's what that is. And the reason with this one right here, the reason I didn't go with this one is because when we initially did it right here, initially did it right here. So this time when we came back down, this was sitting a little bit lower now, so I didn't use this one because you can see this had once we came into this one right here, we only got a small move. I So I had to go back and use this one. Um, I had to go back and use this one because it was a little bit lower. So if you're watching me do this, this is all I'm looking at. Like the last time we hit this point, like how did we react? You know, it's the same way you would do it with price action, except I trade momentum. So that's what I'm watching for. And the 944, which I said, that's right here. That is merely that point right there. And then, of course, you see me do it to the top side too to see how we do. Asia session did this move right here. Like, is it really something or is it just noise? Of course, it's noise because you can see how we did when we came back up. We did nothing. We respected it. Rolled over, rolled over. So bear divs, basically, that's all that's saying. And that's why I'm watching this one. That was this point that we started to roll over. Now just see how we react around it. That's basically it. This is in the middle of nowhere. So this is closer to the 50 points. So I expect for it to roll over if we're really bearish. So don't get confused about breaking a 50 point, a midpoint or mean or anything like that. And it can apply to anything, but I really like to use it on the RSI, but it can apply to anything. One day I'll be able to figure out the exact price point. One day I've tried many times to try to figure it out. I really have a hard time. I think Crown like has something kind of like where he can figure out where it'll throw him out some sort of a number or something like that. I haven't been able to do that. I've tried to develop different stuff to be able to do that, but I've had zero success with it. So it has to be real time information for me, just kind of, just seeing the chart and like, am I at a key level as I'm approaching that point in time. Or is it a nothing burger? we're going nowhere. All right, so we're approaching those expiration date, which is supposed to be 8 o'clock. Hopefully, we don't just nuke through here coming down. I don't know. Um, but we remain bearish, unfortunately. Um, unless you're short, I mean, and then I guess you're fortunate. Let me check on oil. Okay. Still holding up, trying to get a little bit more momentum in here on oil, for that push up, like we talked about that value area high, but I'm really going to be more interested in the wicks above if oil manages to get that push up. So I think at this point, oil may have crossed back up. Let me just check. No, it hasn't. So, 2 minutes in, I'll go to oil, and then I'm gonna have to say goodbye. But I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for the expiration, so I don't want to dash out of here and just be like, okay, we're about to expire. Goodbye. Um. Anyway, whatever's happened has happened. So hopefully we get a squeeze today. Hopefully it could be a little while though, because the 4 hour still looks, it ain't great, but come on. Like, really? Really? How much more rolling over can we do? And stop giving all my secrets away too. Mhm. All right, we're just chilling right now. I mean, Bitcoin is not giving a hooty toot right now. It's not giving a hoot right now. So, yeah. I mean, 4 hour candle just opened. I mean, we're still in our little bounce right now, a little bounce, but I said 15 minutes into this candle open, so I got 15 minutes um, right now. maybe another 4 hours. 1 hour would tap out. I know the 15 minute has really been trying, but like I was telling you yesterday, it was the only time frame that was trying to give a bounce, and here was the 15 minute. We're about to move into a place where the 1 hour be trying, but at the same time, you know, it's just really really rough. Got a cloud cover on 15 and one, um, which is never nice. Not really, not really. But still, it's another 4 hours before the 4 hour. That red line that I mentioned to you earlier, it's another 4 hours before that one actually crosses down, and then we'll be in numerical order. So another 4 hour close, guys. One more 4 hour close, and it's the weekend. So I mean, we'll probably see some shenanigans. We'll go into Monday possibly with a pump or a squeeze or something like that, unless it happens over the weekend. That could be the other thing. We could see that short squeeze happen over the weekend. Let me see if that was a 382 rejection. I really don't have a good place to draw a fib from. Yeah, sure enough. This has been the most bearish garbage ever. Let me take a look back at let me at least put this on for, let's see, collapse that, collapse that, collapse that. See, that thing. What's that coin? Tau. That's that coin, Tau. Yeah, still rolling over like we were saying, looking at. But anyway, while Bitcoin is melting over here with another 382 rejection. See, Tau broke momentum on the 4 hour, but we had already talked about that the other day because I was saying to you that it looked a lot like Bitcoin in that sense, right in here, especially like once we get about below here, and then of course there's your breaking point. But yeah, Tau still holding the ascending trend line through here, but it actually did break momentum through here. And then I was going to watch out for this section right here once Tau comes down into here because it would be a bull div. Still didn't get into here, which I think it can still do, like get into the golden pocket or possibly the 786. But there are some bearish signals in here. The 4 hour time frame, in my opinion, I thought looked fine. I can see that we did finally start chopping back into the cloud. I can see that right here, that it did start to melt back into the cloud. But support zone right in here with the ascending trend line there. I think it still can get up. It could probably still get up to here into this golden pocket. I think that would be your last push if you got it though. But definitely a change on your momentum through here. Because you had the bear div down through here. See that slope? That bear div through here. And I had already looked at that, which basically is just in sync with your move up. Not the greatest, but we still be coming into some support. I looked at it on a few other time frames as well. It's still good over here. Still good through here. So I think you could still get that one swing into here. Remember which time frame it was that I looked at it. It may have been the weekly time frame. Yeah, I think it was the weekly time frame because daily looks fire. Daily looks fire. It was the weekly, I believe it was. Yeah, it was the weekly. So it's not bad. Typically, once you get somewhere around here, it's not a lot of data here on the weekly time frame, but into this golden pocket, I would say that that would be like your first real area where you might have a little bit of resistance right through here, right through here, and you haven't made it up there yet. So I'm still pushing for that. Any sort of expansion that could take place right through here. Like I said, between that 786 and that golden pocket, that's going to be your zone, in my opinion, for Tau. I don't really think that it reverses from where it is, even though it looks a little shish on the 4 hour. It does look a little shice on the 4 hour. And then that, of course, is with that little pattern that Tau is in. Hmm. Let's see how oil behaves today. Bear div on oil, but I don't think the market really cares about that, right? Like I said, this was the one that gave us the last time I talked about it anyway. This was the one that gave us that swing. So that's the VWAP. That's the momentum. Bounce, bounce. And then below that, is this one right here, but it's not too far. Actually, it's the same. It's the same as where we are. So yeah, it's the same one. But we've seen multiple just continuations up. Looks like it's the same one. That'll be yeah, it's the same one. So lose that, you know you've started to break your momentum to the upside here. Otherwise, you just keep coming back and bounce, 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 bounce. So this one really, yeah. Anyway, market is boring. Still waiting on this to. I really like to see this take this liquidity down here. Like I said, when I posted on it, like it had bounced multiple times from here. Um, got the bounce right there. Then it tried to do the little bounce right here. It's below it now. I will gauge the horizontal, um, but no, see my little checkpoint. Anyway, it was this right here where we started that phase one right here. So I'm looking to see if we come down into this one. That'll get us this liquidity down here and possibly into VWAP or something like that. So this was the one time that we did break below it right here and put in that bull div. So I was kind of watching that too. Anyway, I'm bored. We're 15 minutes in. The market is doing nothing. I love you. I appreciate you. And Bitcoin right now is walking kind of slow right now, walking kind of slow. Um, I will let you know if I see anything that gives us inspiration to the upside, at least for the rest of the market as well, in terms of crypto, anyway, certain cryptos, anyway. But um, it's the weekend, baby. Let's hope we get a short squeeze here. If not, maybe not today, but over the weekend or Monday. Seems likely. Love and appreciate you. And I will be checking on you later. Good day.